Okay, guys, we are going to get started. I want to welcome everybody who's here. This is the first one. This is really, really awesome. Uh, First of all, I just want to let you know who I am. I guess we'll call this series "Meet Neethia's Friends." I don't know. I have a bunch of friends in the States who know how to do some really, really important things, and I didn't want to keep my friends a secret. And I felt this was a really good time to introduce them to you virtually, obviously, because we're in two different parts of the world. But I just didn't want to hold the information she's giving me for what I need to do, because I'm sure there are other people who who need what I need. And I just wanted to take this time that we're working from home to communicate with as many people as possible and share the information, because I'm really bad at paraphrasing and quoting people. I would get the information wrong, very wrong. I'll tell you what I think you should know, but I didn't want to do damage to what Kayla's doing for me. So basically, what I needed to know, what I needed to do, what I need to do is rebrand myself. And that thought came about when we were put into quarantine. Well, let me put that back. Not exactly quarantine, it was just lockdown. We were able to go out over here in China, and it was just a weird time, really weird, because I was shocked. I'm not home, I'm across the world, and you're telling me I'm not going back to work for 2 months. I'm like, what? It was just so confusing to me. So when I finally got my head together, I'm thinking, okay, you know what? Let me do something instructive, but let me not do it incorrectly. My my lane, to pick my lane, is I'm a stand-up comic. I'm a comic, and I'm funny, and I public speaking, and I'm teaching in a whole nother part of the world. So I'm just overtly confused. All I know how to do is what we're doing now, talking and introducing people. So once I introduce you to Kayla, you pretty much you take it from here, because I'm just going to step out. And so, Kayla, what I needed to know from you, have this conversation with you instead of doing it on the phone, is Kayla, I'm ready to rebrand myself, because with this new experience, as a either as an entertainer or a public speaker or a teacher or whatever have you, I just want to use this ability to market myself, because now I have another ability or another quality to myself, or another point that will make me more marketable to people. But now my brand has to be international, because now I've reached outside of New York. And so I just want to make sure I do it properly. And honestly, I'm not really good at that. So yeah, so I'm pretty much, that's why I called you to help, because you know how to do that stuff.
Thank you so much, Nithya, for contacting me and trusting me with the next level of your business. I think the first step is what you just identify is your target audience. I think that that is a great strength that you have now transferred into an international audience. And so, with that in mind, you can start with a press kit, which is a simple base item that indicates who your audience is, what you do, your bio, your successes, like who you've worked with, what brands you worked with. And then in addition to that, we can talk about whether or not your website and or logo is consistent and updated. Now, since you're moving into a new audience and a new even language, I think that you can think through what features do you need on your website? What different languages can you include on your website, since now you have a wider audience? But a first item or simple first step is a press kit. I think that would be great for you. You can send it to anyone you want to work with, and they can learn more about you and more about your services and what you do. So I'll start with that,
Okay.
and I'll jump into the presentation, and I can give you a few more tips as to what I think will be also helpful for you and everyone else.
I totally didn't think about the other language part. I didn't think about that. I never, yeah, I didn't even consider that.
And even at Wix, the cool thing about Wix or different, there's many different website platforms. They do it automatically. They have it built in the system in the back end, and so you just put whatever you want, and they'll do it through their system, through their coding system in the back end.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And it can be up to as many languages as you want, not just one or two.
Oh, cool. Okay. Thank you.
So I'll just start the presentation. I'll share my screen so you can all see it, and then you just let me know if it's working okay.
Okay.
Okay. Did it come up
Yeah, I
okay?
see. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'll start with this, and there's a section for Q&A, and if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And so today's presentation is called You Are Your Brand by Kayla Consulting Company, founded by Kayla Marte. So during this presentation, the things we'll cover is a quick intro to who I am and what I offer, a strategy, branding tips, what I do, breakdown of services, my reach that I've had thus far, a Q&A, and a contact us form so you can get in touch with me. So my name is Kayla Marte, and I'm really passionate about helping individuals amplify their brand. So I launched Kayla Consulting Company, and I'll get into what we do a little bit later. I work with the New York City Department of Small Business Services, and they help unlock economic potential and create economic security for all New Yorkers by connecting New Yorkers to good jobs, creating stronger businesses, and building thriving neighborhoods across the 5 boroughs. So we provide individuals with coaching for anywhere from legal coaching or connecting with attorneys and or free classes to develop their business plan, their 5-year plan, and funding. So we have a lot of services that we offer individuals. And now in the current time, we've moved them to being virtual. So that is something that you all can also participate in if you're interested. I also serve as a political strategist for women who want to run for office. And I also do advocacy work with Organizing for Equity New York. So when it comes to branding, branding is used to communicate who you are and what you do. The first step in branding is determining who is your target audience and your overall strategy. So you want to maximize all digital platforms during this time, especially since everyone is moving to a virtual world. You definitely want to start with your main strategy. Some branding basics are clarity, consistency, and authenticity. So it is important to be clear on what you do and what you have to offer. It is also important to be consistent with your brand. When users are connecting with you, they want to make sure that they can come to you time and time again on a consistent basis so that they feel connected and involved with what you offer. And authenticity, people want to trust you when they work with you. They want genuine people and they want to trust you if they're going to go into business with you as well. Another tip is partnering with influencers, and partnerships are key. It doesn't have to be a huge brand or established brand who has thousands of followers, which is great, but you can also start small. So if someone has a skill or idea that you're interested in, I would recommend partnering with them, sending them a simple message, sending them a DM, and just saying, hey, I think we can work well together. What is the mutual beneficial thing we can do for one another? And then move with that. Create a plan and move with that. The power of an ask is so important. Oftentimes we talk ourselves out of it as if we're not ready or we don't have what we need, but it's simply just asking and seeing what comes out of it. Some tips are traditional marketing, so paid ads. The current climate allows you to connect virtually in a way that's never happened before, internationally and locally. So it's important to leverage that, keeping in mind everything that's going on, but still leveraging this unique opportunity that we have. And I will also say, once again, to leverage who you currently know. It's really, really important. This is a quick timeline of what a campaign stage could look like. So the first goal would be increasing the market share. So you identify your goal, you then share your goal with word of mouth, with messages, postings, and then it increases conversations about what you offer and your strategy and your brand, and you pass it on. And then that leads you to getting valuable brand exposure. So you get noticed and it opens more doors for you in your business. So a little bit more about me. So Kayla Consulting Company is Your brand is our priority. So branding, I believe, is birthing purpose. So typically you go into a business because you care about it or you have a passion for it. And what you do is secondary to who you are. So we work with individuals to meet where you are and develop an individualized plan to where you want to go. We do this by offering different services, such as marketing, so we can support your in launching and or updating your website, your logo, or your overall social media brand. In addition, we do innovative content strategy, so we can help you develop and or write the content for social media and provide templates and graphic designs for you to synchronize your brand. So back to that consistency and that clarity piece. We also provide brand consulting, so we can support you in taking your next step, or if you haven't written your business plan or haven't come up with it yet, we can work with you one-on-one to do brand consulting. In addition, we also support with your engagement on social media. So we do proven tips and teach you those tips so that you can also practice those on your social media platforms and or virtually. And we work with you one-on-one. A breakdown of services, we break them into these following categories. So career, so we can support you with updating your digital presence. For example, your LinkedIn, your bio, your resume, cover letter, etc. We will coach you through overall career transitions as well. So if you're seeking to change your job or go into entrepreneur settings, we can support you with that as well. Branding, will work together to support designing your logo, website, and overall digital content. In addition to consulting, we will support you in branding and develop performance-driven metrics. So it's important that you have a target, a goal, and then with a number, because you want to be specific with your goal or what you want to do with your branding and or business, and you want it written out and clear so that you can track it. Am I meeting this goal? Did I reach my level of success I set out for myself? It's important to invest in branding because it increases your return of investment. So you have to invest in yourself so you can see the return of investment. And it's all about taking a risk and placing a bet on yourself. We work with people from all different industries, so fashion, beauty, travel, fitness, just to name a few, but not limited to these. We've also worked with people in the political space and entrepreneur space. So there's a lot of brands we work with, and we're more than happy to work with new brands as well. So here are some of the detail level of support we offer one-on-one. So we make sure we have people to work with you one-on-one. If I'm not the person you need to speak to, I'll connect you to someone who will. So as a dedicated manager, an individualized plan, 24/7 customer support through our website, performance tracking, as I mentioned, and flexible arrangements. So we are just here to ultimately support you and where you want to go with your branding and business. So now's the time for a Q&A. So I just recapped some of the tips I gave you. So identifying goals, having a clear strategy, working with those you know, scout influencers, and connecting with the target audience. So you tailor your content. That's the first step. Any questions so far? I'll pause right here. Oh, I think you have to unmute, Nithya.
Sorry. I would leave it up to ask if anyone else has questions, because I know you're ready, so I don't want to hog up just you and I talking. But if Nick has any questions, I'll open up to her. Yeah, it would just, my question is just what I would need, what I need. I don't want people to keep knowing me as, oh, aren't you a comedian? Like, what are you doing? It's not your business. It's not your business. I have something that I can give you. I can teach you. Let's not even, and I'm being that I'm so Googleable. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff out there. It's all good. It's all good. It's not like it's bad things. But my question is, my task for myself is changing my image. I still want to be funny. But there's a fine line between stand-up comedy. No, actually, it's a thick line. Actually, a thick red line in between the difference of a comedy show and a classroom, and whether that classroom be wherever. I just want to make sure I I kind of sort of want to stay in both worlds, but I'm finding that I can't. But so I want to make sure, at least on social media and on paper, I am presented. I don't want to lose that funniness stuff, but I can't really present myself as the stand-up comic who, can teach kids and adults how to survive. Okay, not exactly survive, how to enhance their learning ability, because it gets technical when you switch lanes. But the blanket statement or ability is, I'm just a funny teacher. But I have to give myself a title depending on which venue. So I just find myself going more towards the education, the more of the not so comedy club scene, because even the scene is different. So yeah, so it's basically how, and not how do I do it. It's just how is it going to be done, and I just follow instructions. That's all.
Yeah, that sounds like you have like two different parts of your brand. So I'm wondering, like,
Yeah.
should you have your own, or should someone have their own separate, of course, accounts for this one brand of myself, and then another account for the other brand of myself, and then how to make sure we're keeping them separate or not trying to blur the lines?
Yeah. Thanks, Nick. Yeah, I don't even want to do two accounts, but I think I do have, but one suffers more than the other because I just trying to, because that's not my lane.
Hearing you, that's great advice. And hearing you speak, I just started thinking and visualizing, I could almost see you doing a wordplay and or bridging the two worlds together. I sort of thought of, this is off the top, is like the world is your classroom, right? So you're an educator, but that's just not limited to the classroom. So you can educate through your comedy, right? So I see a bridging of the two. We can land and play around with what term fits you best. So, because labels tend to box you in, but you can play around with that idea of what would it look like for you to bridge those two worlds together. And sort of this world is me in your classroom, but beyond just educator as in the normal sense, you're bridging the comedy with the educator piece. But that's just a quick thought, but I think there is a play there. There's a word play there, and you can even see how you can bridge the two together, to your point of not wanting to separate it. And if you do feel like you need to separate at a later time after you try this, that's okay too. There's not a right or wrong way. I think you just have to see what your audience responds to.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Hi, Chanel. Welcome to the webinar.
Hi. I apologize. I had class at 11
Oh, no.
via Zoom, so I'm sorry.
No worries. It's actually being recorded, so you'll have it in your pocket, your virtual pocket, just to make sure, because I know. We try to multitask and the best that we can, but I just thank you for coming, because I just wanted all of us to have this information, because you might need it at some point. Even some of us are in our second careers, and at some point, even if you're in your third career, whatever have you, making that transition on your own gets a little weird, because things change. I'm just now used to using Instagram, and next thing you know, oh, we're using TikTok? Like what? I just learned how to use Instagram. I forced myself to Instagram because somebody said, oh, Facebook, that's what but wait, hold on a second. I just remember my password. What is going on here? Come on. So then look, Nithya, just once again, pick your lane. Just pick your lane. So Chanel and OPPO, D'Amica, we're at the point where we're at the Q&A. No worries, the video's recorded, so you can go back. So now we're at the question and answer part. If you have any questions for Kayla, it doesn't have to be related to what I spoke to her about, but your own questions, but she's open for that. So I'm just gonna be quiet.
Hi, everyone. We just joined. We just touched base on some branding tips, and to summarize what we talked about really quickly is just, when it comes to branding, the first step is definitely identifying who your target audience is and tailoring your content towards that audience. Then identifying clear goals and a clear strategy of what you want to do when it comes to your brand and or your business, or your goals that you have for your personal and professional aspirations. And then another tip we gave was scouting influencers. So believing the power of an ask and working with who you know already and partnering with them. They don't have to be an established brand yet, but they can be somebody who has a skill that you could work with, and seeing what the mutual beneficial relationship could be between you two and how you can support one another. And so those were quick tips that I gave, but I definitely want to open up for Q&A, just if you have any branding tips overall or questions about that.
Okay. I was like,
So if you have questions about them.
questions about, oh, go ahead.
Okay. So the first part you talk about in strategy is maximizing your digital platforms. Is it fair to say that we don't need to be on all of them for maybe our specific purpose? Like, I'm sure they could help us, but maybe I don't need to be on TikTok for or do you think all of them wouldn't help? I mean, it wouldn't hurt you to show yourself on all of these platforms.
I think that is so key. My tip in my experience is that you can be specific in your target audience. So that target audience sort of shapes the brands you want to be. I don't think you need to be on all of them at all the times, because a new one is always coming. There's always going to be a new launch, but your strategy and your mission or your core stays the same, right? Regardless of the tool that comes out. And so I think you being based in what you feel is your core, your business mission, will then guide, and your target audience will guide what platforms can you start out. And I always think it's trial and error. So you always are testing what response did you get on this platform, doing the research, what's updated, and seeing what people are talking about and testing it out. But I do not think you need to be on all of them all at once. I think being specific pays off in the long term.
So tailoring it to my audience, if my audience aren't like younger kids who are watching videos, but more people who are like reading information on Twitter or like looking at Instagram pictures, that would be better than trying to make a video for my self on TikTok.
And I think if you start with your targeted audience, and then if you branch into video, you can collect what you've already worked on in these platforms and see how it could serve you in the long term. But definitely target. If your audience is not on TikTok, do not put energy in putting everything towards that. Focus on where your audience is, because that's what matters most.
Good question.
Yes.
Should you wait until your business has been, let's say its logo name has been legalized before you actually start on social media platforms? Or should you like build your audience during the whole process?
That's a great question. I would recommend, the way I say start, sometimes you just have to start to get the momentum. So sometimes it's a lot of mental thoughts of like, oh, let me wait till I have this. Let me wait till I have this. I would recommend starting, because you know the core of what you want to do. But, and it can also come as you are sharing what you're doing with others. So you're testing it, right? You can write your 10 closest friends or the 10 people you engage with most on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, and then saying like, hey, I have this idea. Can you give me feedback on this? You can do those small steps while you're still in the process of legalizing your business. And eventually, when you follow up with those people, you say, hey, I'm now live and I have my business ready to go. And here's the website, here's the logo. And you can launch. People already had that consistent base from you. And so I think you can start. If you have your clear strategy and target audience, you don't have to wait until it's legalized or the back end.
I've been posting on my personal page, and I kind of want to transition to like having my own page with my own baking, with my own cakes. But I'm hesitant because I don't want it to be within the realm of like, what is it, personal, I forgot the terminology of it, where someone can just come and take something that I have and just take it away. Is it personal integrity? No, it's not that. Sorry, I'll find the word later. But I don't want it to be where someone can come and just take what I have.
Intellectual.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Intellectual property. Thank you. So I was like, wait, look, I didn't have class.
And that's real. And people will try to, if they like it, they'll run with it. So it's always great to still have your paper work in process and getting those legalities fixed out. But at the same time, I think you know what you feel comfortable sharing, and
Mhm.
if you feel ready to share, don't share if you don't feel comfortable sharing it yet, or
Okay.
you're afraid of someone taking it. If it's a specific idea that you created and patent and all of those things, you can wait until the back end. In that case, wait. But if it's the under like startup process, I
Mhm.
would say you can
Put it
share
out
like
there.
the testing things, or maybe it's a questionnaire, getting feedback on, or asking people questions on what they want to see versus the actual idea. Then you don't have to wait for those type of steps.
Yeah, just- okay.
If that
Also
makes
with
sense.
that, how would that work with like transitioning from your business from one area to the other? Because now currently I'm in China and I want to transition it back home. So it might experience a name change in the business, may or may not. So that's something that I'm also hesitant about. But should I just go ahead and start it, just get the clientele out there, get the audience out there to know what I'm doing? So I don't know, what's your take?
Are you doing it like the getting the LLC, or like
That's what I want to do. Yeah, I'm in the
are you
process.
doing it in China or
This,
in
the
this?
States. That's why,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, that makes sense. So I would start with, depending, we can connect more one-on-one to see what direction you want to go in. But if you are already processing it and starting it in the States, then I would focus on the virtual part of the brand that's going to be, or what your audience is in the States. And then eventually, once you got that down, you can then translate that at a later time to the international piece. But your focus is right now is your state's local, or your communities in the States. That's your target audience. And then you could get even more specific: what age groups, what demographics, where, what location, what state, and etc.
Okay. Okay.
So, any other quick questions? If not, I'll just continue with the rest of the slides. And we could always connect at a later time as well and watch the rerun at a later time. Okay, I'm going to just share my screen again. Okay. So, quick quote that I always like to use is: promoting and amplifying your brand to your audience means credibility. So that means as you continue building your brand and your idea, it builds credibility and people know what they can go to you for, and then what you do. And as I mentioned earlier, your brand is birthing purpose. You typically go into the business because you have a passion or an idea that you feel you can have something to offer. And so what you do is secondary to who you are. It's typically always connected. And so you want to remain solid in who you are and then what you do. And so that builds credibility when people know they can go to you for something, and they know clearly what's the service you offer within your brand. So this is my personal contact information. My email is kaylaconsultingco@gmail.com. My WhatsApp is that number, 718-640-7924. And then my website is kaylaconsulting.com. And it has all of the services I offer. And then there's a quick sign up sheet, so you can put your name, your info, and what you would like help or support in, and then I'll contact you right away. Or you can email me as well. And then this is thank you for joining, and I am so excited to connect with each of you, and I would love to connect after this presentation and really see how we can work together to amplify each other's brands.
Can you,
Oh, yes.
give me a second. You can continue. Sorry, you can continue.
I was going to see if anyone had any other additional questions, or I'll also share my website so you can just see where to sign up.
I have one. So for my brand, or I guess what I'm trying to do is I make roller perfumes, And for something like this, it's not like Chanel, she has cakes. People understand food, you know, and taste and things. Perfume, I think, is very personal. And that's something you can, it's kind of hard to sell online. So an advice to ways that maybe getting myself out there, even if it's online or other ways I can get myself out there to give people the experience.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's a great question. And before I would say, okay, pop-up shops and different public events in which folks are communing for a certain specific cause. I think hopefully those will come back eventually in our cities or respected areas.
Right.
But for now, I would say how I would think about the branding of the perfume's name and how you can tell a story to how you got to the scent. So people always respond to stories. We connect on a post or a caption, usually because of the story it's telling, or a video or a movie. It's the story. Even when it comes to campaign, when people run for office, people usually vote for the person because of a story, right? They want to buy into the story of the person. And so I think through the perfume sense, how can you tell a story with each scent, knowing that it's in person that really gives the smell or the actual like feeling? How can you play with a story and then also maybe send samples or a cost efficient way to then have people test the item as well? I hope that's helpful.
And with that, like, it's not just one scent. Of course, there are more scents. Everyone has their own story. Is it like do you think having one story for all of them? Oh, this is the journey, like, of my home smells, or each one can have its own story. Like, oh, this is something I thought when I walked through the beach, or I want to remind you of the beach, like this. Like,
yes.
those
I
kind of.
think each of them should have their own story, I think, depending on how many scents you have, I think. And a visual can go with that story too. You can dive deeper and you can start creating or like literally putting the images to the story if you feel ready.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Could we go back to your information slide?
Yes, I'll go back to that.
Thank you.
Let me just share. Okay, so this is my information, and I'm so excited to connect with each of you.
Kayla, all of us are connected on WeChat. I'm still trying to get you in WeChat, Kayla. It's just weird. It's just been weird overall. But anyways, we're trying to get you in. But if you guys have WhatsApp as well, we can get her directly. But I was trying to get her in the group to answer some questions inside the WeChat groups. But we'll work on that later. Let's just move on and just do whatever else we can to get you guys connected, regardless whether she's in the WeChat group or not. But anyway, I don't want to hold you guys any longer. Now you all know Kayla. I introduced you to Kayla. I did my part because that's what I'm good at. But you guys take it from there. Chanel and Nyx and Ms. OPPO, Damika. I look forward to meeting you guys for real and in person at some point. But you guys know what we have to do right now in this country as far as remaining still until we can get back to some sort of normalcy. But in the meantime, it's nice to meet you guys virtually. Love you guys. Even though we just met, still love you. And anything I can do to help us, no matter where we are, I will do it. There's going to be 2 more of these. Can you guys do me a favor? Since we're on WeChat, can you let's friend each other on the WeChat instead of going into the group? Because there's like requirements as far as posting. Just want to make sure we're in contact personally as opposed to the actual group. Just so I can get you more information. So this is the first of many. And my next friend is a writer. She writes books. And I also go to her to edit some things that don't sound correct. And each of my friends has a specialty. So I just wanted to introduce you to more of my friends in case you guys need some stuff, even if you don't need to pass information to somebody else. But the first thing was, first person that came to mind to introduce you to is Kayla, because that's what I'm doing with my life right now. So yeah, so stay tuned for the series. And Kayla, you pretty much are in control of this part. You end it whenever you're ready. But ladies, you guys enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your week. And I'll see you guys soon. Just hit me on the WeChat. My name is Nethia H. And you can find me in the groups that we're all in. But if that's all I have to say. Anybody else?
How can you get the recording of this? My friend said she wasn't able to make it.
No problem. I'll let Zoom do what it does after the video was done. It makes it into a file, and then I'll figure out how to do that part. But definitely hit me up on the friend request on the WeChat. I can send it directly to you as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But yes, I'll learn how to get it together after Zoom, because I have the files of my classes. I don't know what to do with them. So I just have them. But yes, but I'll do the same for this. And I'll put it up on, I think I should put it up on YouTube as well. Anyway, that's another thing I got to do today. But Kayla, I love you, girl. I miss you so much. We have to, as soon as I get to the States, we got to go hang out and eat chicken. That's the big we have to make dates to just go eat chicken in different places in New York, including Westchester.
And miss you more, and it was such a pleasure connecting with you all. I'm just going to quickly show you my website. Please do not hesitate to contact me. At the bottom, the video will show, but then there's a quick form you fill out right here, contact me, and I will be sure to connect with you and respond to any messages. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'm so grateful we were able to connect.